our whole matrix of being human is this relationship between autonomy and communion, between how we experience ourselves as separate, unique, free, and self-determined beings on the one hand, and on the other hand, how everything that we are and all that matters to us actually arises within a matrix of human relations from the moment we're born until, if we're lucky, the moment we die. And there's just great learning and great, just heart involved in that. And at the same time, for any of us who've really engaged and are really paying attention, we realize how fundamentally unsolvable relationships are. So it's a little bit of a matter of, sometimes when I talk to my single friends, or my friends who are contemplating divorce, or my friends who are having affairs, or my friends who are having alternative relationships, it's really a question of pick your poison. Because it doesn't matter the structure, it doesn't matter the configuration, it's going to hurt. And as soon as you make peace with the fact that it hurts, the fact that there are times you're going to feel unseen, unheard, unloved, not related with properly, that is absolutely part of it. It's part of the human experience. And sometimes we all have this longing to experience ourselves as love. And we all, because I think our deep experience is that the best place to fulfill that is in relationship to another, that we look to our relationships to be the place where love shows up the most profoundly. And in fact, sometimes love shows up in the most unrecognizable way through all the difficulty we have. And so we make a number of kind of not so great choices. One choice is we become a little less available. We distance ourselves from other people. We don't quite allow ourselves to be intimate because we don't want to be hurt. So that's one. Or we may lose ourselves in work. Or we can be overly oriented and working really hard and overly communicative and overly striving, and that doesn't really work either. That just becomes its own problem. So for me, the integral experience is to be able to hold the perfection and the beauty of these human interactions, the absolute impossibility of them. They're just not going to feel good all the time. That's the long and the short. And then just commit to loving people in spite of it. That we learn to love in spite of the pain. We learn to love in spite of the impossibility. And we take people in their fullness, for their beauty, for their gifts, for their shadow qualities, for their screwed up parts of their character. You can't love if you're not willing to love the whole spectrum. So my main commitment in relationship, particularly when teaching in the integral context, is loving the whole being, including their shadow. And myself, which is really the hardest in a certain way. My teacher used to say that what he learned through his teacher was that he used to use the expression swallowing the whole fish, to take the person absolutely whole. And he realized one day that if he couldn't do that with his own teacher, that he could never do that with himself. There was no way he could really ultimately accept himself unconditionally if he couldn't also accept his teacher. That's a great instruction.